It's out of control. Like so many things in Sims 4, a new feature had promised, but now it's taking over players' games. It did have warning signs about this feature with the early access reviews of the new Sims 4 Enchanted by Nature expansion pack. And while many Simmers have mentioned in the past they want the illness system from Get to Work to improve, I will say, even though on paper ailments also sound like a good idea, unfortunately players are reporting quite the opposite. You see, ailments in the Enchanted by Nature expansion pack are just way overdone, and honestly, it sounds like a nightmare. And as Simmers continue to be vocal, the team actually did make a statement on this. The Sims Direct Communication said, "We are also investigating reports and tuning settings for ailments in Enchanted by Nature. In the meantime, you can reduce the frequency of ailments via the Enable, Balance, and Imbalance toggle in the game options." As I have mentioned in previous videos, if you get lots of ailments, balance does play a role. However, there currently is no way to turn them off. And unfortunately, there's also not a tuning system. It does sound like they are going to do some tuning settings. I wonder if that is going to include turning them off completely. Now, you might ask, if you don't have the expansion pack, are they really that bad? Well, I just want to go over a few reports on what Simmers are experiencing. Ailments are definitely not optimized. My sim was healed, and a few hours ago this evening, I set up a date on a community lot. They barely sat down, and they now have a new ailment just hours later. No one around them is sick, no major events, no bathrooms were used, and no mood lit beforehand. Fun fact, after curing an ailment at the herbalist, my sim managed to get a sickness from Get to Work. Had to go there a second time to be cured from all types of diseases. This simmer said, "My sims ended up with 4 different ailments in the span of 10 minutes. They either need to retune these things or give us the option to disable them completely." And just a few more comments to show what this situation is really like. I can definitely see I'm going to need a mod eventually to remove ailments from my game. In regular, more realistic gameplay, I don't want townies wandering around covering in ailment stuff, nor have sims constantly catching them. And potentially one of the biggest problems is adding more and more systems gets more and more complex. As this person noted, when designing the balance system, it seems like EA didn't take into account how it impacts with base game and other packs. For example, emotion changes have been integral gameplay, and they need to tune it so not every negative emotion causes them to have ailments. And we all know anything that's tied to the emotion system can be flawed. After all, emotions themselves are somewhat flawed in Sims 4. And even though this does sound like a good idea again on paper, unfortunately it does seem like it is way overdone. Hey Sims 4, let me disable ailments. My sim literally got married and her husband contracted an ailment at the reception. It's been 1 day since the pack came out and I hate these ailments already. Let me turn them off. And even getting more specific, there are certain ailments people find especially annoying. The gnome one is probably the worst because you don't know if you're going for good or bad gnomes. If they're bad, they break everything and spawn trash piles everywhere. And if you have plants, rest in peace. So going forward, hopefully they look more into the coding of the Sims themselves. I think it could also help the Sims team further flesh out all these systems we have already, and that is luck, ailments, sentiments, etc. That honestly is a bigger topic for another video. We have so many systems in Sims 4, but they need tuning, and this is just another example of one of those. I will try to see if the Sims team makes a decision on how to handle this problem, but honestly, I'm not very surprised about this problem in particular. On the other hand, I do hope if you have bought the pack, you are enjoying it. I do think there are some positive attributes of this pack too, but I do think it's important to note when something is going on. Also, I'm sorry for the lack of videos. I had an interview and I've just been kind of crazy busy, but I will be back to posting as much as possible. As always, thanks so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.